Hi there. So, in the last year or so, I've been taking these acting classes. I took a piano class or two, and right now I'm in Toastmasters. Been trying to work on my performance, my public speaking, just because it's something that I've never really felt very competent at. So, I'm trying to get better at it. I've learned a lot of things. I would definitely not say I'm a master of it, but I've learned things that have been very helpful, and some of them are pretty amazing how big of an impact and how much of a change you can make by just these little tweaks. So I'm going to share with you 10 things that have helped me a lot. So the first thing is kind of a physical phenomenon or an image that I keep in mind when I'm talking to a big group, and maybe it's a big room and I'm trying to make sure everybody can hear me clearly and I'm talking loud enough. I have this image. I imagine the farthest person in the room, the very back. I imagine my words going in their ear. So I keep that in mind, and somehow that just magically lets me know how loud I need to talk and how clearly I need to talk. I don't know why it works. It's kind of magical, but it does seem to work. The second thing is to remember to smile, but not with your mouth. Smile with your eyes. Now you can smile with your mouth if it's appropriate for what you're talking about, but you don't want to keep a smile the entire speech. Whereas your eyes, that's where your smile really is. That's the honest smile that you can't fake. So look at your eyes and make sure that they're smiling if you're talking about something happy. Obviously, if you're talking about something sad, or if you're doing a sad speech, you're not going to do that. But it's okay when you're just talking to people normally to smile with your eyes. It makes you seem very welcoming and makes people open up to what you have to say. The next one is to remember that the audience is on your side. They want you to succeed. They want to hear your message. I go to a lot of stand-up comedy, and when I see comedians, I really want to see them tell a funny joke. I want to laugh. I'm not saying, bah, I hope they can't make me laugh. I'm saying, yes, make me laugh. Please, I'm begging you, make me laugh. Say something funny. And if you're telling an interesting speech, give me something to really think about. I'm on your side, and your audience is on your side too. Next one is, this is a little more with like playing music or acting, but it's also with speeches, and this is to remember that there are no second takes. You don't break character, you don't restart, you just keep going. If you play a wrong note on the piano, you just keep going. If you mess up your line, you gotta work with it. You don't say, oops, I messed up, and break character. That's something you never do in theater. You have to keep going. And the same thing with your speeches. If you have a slight problem, just kind of work with it. Don't apologize, don't say excuse me, don't say anything like that. Just keep going. The next one has to do with the emptiness around your words. As we speak, sometimes we want to fill every inch of the space with words, just words, 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 words. But sometimes pauses can be so effective. Pauses allow your audience to just feel the energy. If you have a dramatic point, you can pause at the right moment. Just work those in. Don't just have a relentless pounding of noise of words. Just break it up a little. Use the energy. Feel the room. The same thing goes with your volume. You don't have to be the same volume throughout your entire speech. You can whisper a little. You can talk loudly. Just vary your volume. Now, when you begin, you want to talk loudly and clearly, but once you have their attention, once you are kind of working towards something, you can lower your voice. You can raise it. You can move it back and forth. Modulate. The next point about your pronunciation is also important. You want to make sure you pronounce your words how they're meant to be pronounced. So if you're using a word that you don't know, or if you're like doing some Shakespeare play with some antiquated word that's no longer in use, make sure you're pronouncing it right. Nothing will make you look less professional than saying a word wrong, like I don't know what word. Let me see. Evaluations. If I said evaluations, who would say that? But if I did, it would make my credibility just go out the window. So if you don't know a word, look it up. And there's so many things online now that you can have like the computer say the word for you, that why would you not look it up and just get it right? Now, as you pronounce your words, something one of my drama teachers told me was that use the vowels. That's where the energy and the personality of the words is. It's in the vowels. So you have the words that have been given to you in a play, but how you work with them is really where all the energy is. So play with those vowels. The next point has to do more with public speaking than with acting, and it has to do with your audience and connecting with your audience. This is a really magical thing. You can do it with when you're talking to somebody one-on-one, or you can do it when you're talking to a group of people in a room. So if you're talking one-on-one, use the person's name and use you a lot. People love to hear their own name. It's magical. When I hear my name, Adam, or even when I hear something similar to my name, like add them up, or if you're going to add them together, my brain just flickers for a second and it like hones in on that. It just makes me want to listen. So use a person's name. They love to hear that. And if you're in a small meeting, you can do it as well. Just like if you make a point, say something like Jim said or something like Lisa said. Just use their names, work it into the conversation. Now this is kind of difficult when you have like an audience of like 500 people. You're not going to be calling names out one at a time. That doesn't make sense. But you can do something similar. You can use the word you. People love to hear you. It's almost as good as their name. Not quite as good, but still pretty good. So use you a lot in your speech. Anytime you can say you this, you that, use it. And it works great with, questions. Do you have any good ideas about this? Do you know what will happen when this happens? Blah, blah, blah. Use questions and use you, and it will make your audience listen a little more attentively. The final point I want to make has to do with speeches in general. Remember, as you give a speech, you're an artist. It's an art form. You can get better at it. There's people that are really good at it one way, and there's people that are really good at it another way. As you get better, people like branch off into different categories of greatness. So whatever your style is, that's great. You can make it great. You can make yourself an expert at that style. It's going to take practice, but remember that you can get better and study all these different ways that people perform in public. So I made a list, and listen to this list. So you have speakers, obviously, but you also have stand-up comedians, you have singers, rappers, actors, performance athletes, teachers, magicians, circus performers, animation, like characters in animation. You have mimes, clowns, the list goes on and on. All these people are doing some kind of visual audio performance, audiobook readers, podcasts, etc. All these different ways that people communicate. So look at all that and try and figure out, how can I incorporate, if you find like a really good, for example, singer, what can you incorporate from their performance in your performance? You may not be a singer. I mean, you can be if you want. If you want to sing in your speech, that's up to you, but you don't necessarily need to. But you can still look at, for example, a great concert like Beyonce. She does these really over-the-top performances. Look at what she does, and how can you work that into yours? And if you see like a street performer that's maybe playing a violin or something, what are they doing that catches your attention? How can you work that into your speech or your performance? So look at these other artists, and remember, you're an artist. Work that into your own stuff. So those are my 10 tips. I think you'll like them a lot. Just try one or two of them first, and eventually you can work them all in, because I think each of them is very powerful if you use them right.